What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Scalpers are absolutely destroying any chance for people who want to get a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X or Xbox Series S for that matter, legitimately through normal means of retail. What's happening right now, according to an article on Business Insider, is it's not just massive amounts of scalpers out there that are buying these up and reselling them on the aftermarket to get more money, but it's actually companies that are employing people and bringing people in and using computer mechanisms to scalp as many possible consoles that they can get their hands on. One reseller group snagged nearly 3,500 PlayStation 5s to resell them on the market. Now that's just one group. You could imagine the amount of PlayStation 5s in particular, not to mention, like I said, the Xbox Series X and S's that are being scooped up by these companies just to resell them in the aftermarket. This is a problem. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell for notifications so you don't miss any uploads. And with that being said, my stance on scalpers is a bit controversial, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'll be as honest as I can here. I don't have a problem with scalpers, as long as it's just a dude or some girl buying up this console and reselling it on the aftermarket if they buy a second one to make a little bit of extra money and maybe discount the price of their own or whatever they're doing for their own personal reasons. I actually don't mind that. I look at that as that's capitalism. That's business, baby. You want to buy it and sell it for more? That's supply and demand. Where the problem comes in is when companies start to take advantage of this and buy up all the supply, which is exactly what's happening according to this Business Insider article. I'm not going to read through the entire thing. I will link it down in the description below if you want to look through it, but I do want to focus on a few of the highlights from this. The PlayStation 5 launched this week in Europe and the UK, and customers encountered many of the same issues they faced in the US. The console was sold out near instantly at most retailers. The only way to get a PS5 at launch was through a pre-order, but some retailers sold PS5 consoles digitally on a first-come, first-served basis. The robust resale market of the coveted new game console is at least partially to blame, and that market is dominated by groups that work collectively and use bots to buy up as much stock as possible. The manager of one of these groups told Business Insider that his group is responsible for thousands of PS5 purchases headed for resale. You have to put the work in, otherwise you literally don't stand a chance, he said. Resellers boasting dozens of PS5 consoles have popped up on eBay, StockX, and Instagram, and they appear to have used the same type of retail busting software that sneaker resellers use to get the latest Yeezys. So this is software that they're using. It's something that they download and have the ability to basically get under the covers of the website, whether it be Walmart or GameStop or Target or even Best Buy to a limited extent. Best Buy, we'll get back to that in a little bit, but they use this program to figure out when these will be going live before anyone else knows and automate the program so that they're able to blast the website repeatedly faster than a human could do in order to get these consoles first. In fact, they did it so much to Walmart that they crashed the site. Now, here's the thing, real quick, when it comes to scalpers and these companies, I know people will look at this and say, oh, Walmart should be doing something about this because they're just, all these bots are buying up the stock and the supply, and the customers that actually want to pay Walmart for it aren't able to do so. You need to remove yourself from the situation and look at it from Walmart's perspective, where they are a retailer. They literally live to sell these consoles. They don't care who is buying them. They don't care if it's Joe Blow on the street or an algorithm that's designed to buy every single one of them that they have. Their end goal is to sell the console. So yes, it's a bit cold, and from a customer service perspective, it could use a little bit of work, but Walmart doesn't care. Target doesn't care. GameStop doesn't care. Best Buy, like I said, we would get back to, Best Buy is at least implementing a feature that requires users to wait and put on standby, and It's slowing down the bots a bit, but they're still able to get through. This is part of what the issue is when we're living in a pandemic-laced world right now, where most business is being done online. Previously, in the past, all these consoles, these previous generations consoles, there'd be lines out the door as far as the eye could see because they would force people to wait to get theirs. They couldn't have bots laying in thousands and thousands of lines. They'd have to be a real person and limit it one per person because they saw how long the line was. They wanted to be fair and didn't want to piss off customers. But when a computer comes into play, they don't care. They just want to sell them. That's my little soapbox moment for what's going on from these retailers' perspective. But the issue that I have with what's happening right now with the scalpers is there's no accountability. There's no real laws in place that I know about that are stopping these scalpers from doing exactly just that. And because the world's progressed to being mostly digital now when it comes to sales from retailers, especially in the COVID world, these companies don't allow people. When the PlayStation 5 launched, they didn't even allow people to go in the store to buy them. They didn't sell them in stores. They only allowed pre-orders that were made digitally, or I guess GameStop did take some over the phone, but for the most part, digitally pre-ordered or digitally purchased and delivered to their house. There was no lines at these stores, which made the perfect path for these scalpers to set up these bots and just rake in as many consoles as possible. Which really, truly sucks for the people that truly want to genuinely have one of these consoles. From somebody who was lucky enough to get the PlayStation 5 on a pre-order, spending nearly, I'd say, somewhere between 7 or 8 hours of refreshing a screen on Best Buy, Walmart, Target, and finally getting a bundle package through GameStop, that was the only one I was able to actually get. I kept trying to get through Best Buy and it kept being in my cart and wouldn't let me check out. It was extremely frustrating because all these bots were sucking up all the supply throughout the launch day of the pre-orders. I know it's easy to say this because I have it, but it's not something you need to get right now. Trust me. It's awesome. I love it, except for the controller, which if you check my previous video, the buttons are starting to stick on one of my controllers and the second one is getting a little bit weaker, and based off the comments and replies in that video, it's definitely not just me. It's quite widespread. So a reason why people should hold off is for Sony to fix the imperfections that they have with the charging of the controller in the front port, the hard drive, external hard drive that isn't necessarily working like it should be or not even available, the controller buttons that are sticking, the lack of games that you could even play on the PlayStation 5. There's just nothing really there right now that should be focusing people to get one of these as much as possible. And yeah, I know you got the FOMO thing going on at extreme highs, and it's the same thing with the Xbox Series X and Series S. If you already have the previous generation console, it's okay. You can wait. There's nothing. Like if Halo came out, I'd be like, alright, and if Halo was great and everything like that, but it's not. They had to go back to the drawing board because they had to fix a whole bunch of stuff with it. So even these companies weren't ready to release these consoles when they did. Now, off track a little bit, but people were saying that they should have held off on releasing these until they were ready. I strongly disagree with that. These consoles, they're out, they're available, they're pretty much ready. There might not be much to play on them, but that is a benefit for people that want them right now anyways. Is wait. Wait till there's something worth getting. Do not pay these scalpers upwards of $800 to $900. Some people $1,000, $1,100. I've seen some go for $1,500. Don't pay that. That's exactly what these companies, their companies legitimately thrive off of, is people wanting one of these and the FOMO that they're having, the fear of missing out, of not having the next latest and greatest console as soon as it's available. I know because I wanted that. I fell for it myself. I was like, I have to have this. I got to get it day one because it's a launch of a console. It's exciting, and it is. But after I have it now, and I played Spider-Man Miles Morales, which was a fantastic game, it's available on PlayStation 4. You don't need the PlayStation 5 for it. These games are not necessarily next generation right now. There's a lot of issues with the ray tracing on the Xbox when it comes to Call of Duty and crashing. There's a lot of problems with these consoles, so do not overpay for them. So how are we going to fix this issue with the scalpers? Unless laws are put into place to stop this from happening, even though laws wouldn't even stop it anyways, there's nothing we can really do until the retailers are held accountable by the game companies, where they have to put a CAPTCHA or some sort of security, you're not a robot device when it comes to checking out for these consoles. And that's only going to happen if Sony and Microsoft start to hold these retailers accountable for how they go about selling them. Problem is, Sony and Microsoft don't care who buys them either. They just want to sell them. That's the biggest thing. I know people say, oh, that's terrible customer service. They don't care about me, the individual who wants to support them. They're a company. They care about selling the device. They don't care how it gets sold. They don't care why it got sold. They just want to sell it. That's the end goal of these businesses. And they know ultimately, if they keep producing them, like what Nintendo did with the Nintendo Switches during the beginning of the pandemic, they keep selling them over and over at the stores. And the secondhand market, it sucks, but you are responsible for your own actions. And if you are going to be paying these prices for the scalpers, it's only going to encourage them to keep doing it more and more and get worse and worse. And hopefully all of this will come to a head right now, where Sony and Microsoft especially, even Nintendo to a lesser extent, will see just how bad this truly is and start holding the retailers accountable for how they go about selling these. I don't really see another way to solve this problem. I don't see a resolution outside of accountability on these stores. And unless they start changing their mindset of, oh, we want as much money as possible and we don't care how we get it, nothing's going to change. That's how I feel about this. It sucks. The scalpers are totally running the market right now. And like I said on at the beginning of this video, like, I'm okay with scalpers to an extent. I'm okay if you're doing it as an individual, making a few extra bucks. I don't mind that. I truly don't. I say go get your paper, do it how you want to do it. But when it starts getting morphed into a business, and that's how you make your money, is by extorting money out of people that aren't able to afford computer software programs that are able to get these faster than a human can, that's when the problem really comes to a point. And the only way to resolve it is to actually have accountability from these stores, starting from Sony and Microsoft in the first place. I'm going to leave the video right there, but interested to hear what you guys have to say about this, where you stand on the scalping situation, where you draw the line, if it's okay for the individual but not for the company, if it's not okay for anybody, or it's okay for everybody. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck trying to obtain a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, and before I go, definitely check out Jake Randall. He's been doing these live streams, trying to get ahead of it and staying on top of it. Follow him on Twitter and subscribe to his YouTube channel. A great person. I've known him for a very long time. And man, his channel is blowing up because of all of this. He is on top of it. I'm going to leave the video right there. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing. Smash,